Hello. So this year I am a judge for the British Book Awards. What on earth? Honestly, when I got the email, I was like, so giddy with excitement. So the British Book Awards is also known as the Nibbies, and it's run by the Bookseller, which is in the UK publishing industry, magazine and general organisation. I have the books I'm going to be judging. So there's many a judges, many a categories. The category that I am a judge for is non-fiction lifestyle. I guess because I'm a non-fiction lifestyle author, is that my qualifications? And also just like general book lover and runner of a book club and other book clubs in the past. Either way, the books and all of the accompanying judging material has arrived. I actually already know what the shortlist is because it was emailed to me, but I'm gonna share it with you. I have no idea if this video is even gonna see the light of day because I'm not entirely sure about what I can and cannot share about the judging process. That's my child. Yeah? Do you need some help?
The colours.
Colours? Oh, you want Rainbow Road?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do Rainbow Road. I'm back. The toddler has not been well, so I'm trying to work around the toddler today, and of course have not been able to get any reading done. The deadline for when I need to have done my judging stuff is, I think, like 2 weeks from now. It's fine, it's fine. I really don't know what I'm gonna be able to share. Bits are confidential, but also I feel like there's a lot, hopefully, that I can share about the judging process, and also just like doing a weird reading vlog, because it's like a very different reading experience if you're judging for a book awards than if you're just reading for pleasure. I mean, in theory, I don't know, I've never judged a book awards before. But before I get into the criteria that I have been given for my category, now I don't even know if this is like across the board in all of the categories or if it's just my category. Like, I'm not gonna have all of the British Book Awards answers here. This is just, I'm just a girl who's been asked to judge a book awards and is very excited and overwhelmed and wants to share as much of the behind the scenes goss as I possibly can, you know? Anyway, enough dilly-dallying. Let's open this box. Right, I need to get into this somehow. We need a knife. Oh. You're upside down. Wow. Okay. Okay. Da, 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 da. I'm in. Okay. Thank you again for being a judge in the British Book Awards. We are delighted that you're joining us. Please find and close the shortlisted books for your category. As a reminder, news of the shortlist is strictly confidential until after 9 AM on Friday the 7th of March. So this is way after that. I hope me telling my toddler, who knows how much he'll understand of this. Here's the first thing that I'm unsure of. We ask that you read as much as possible of these 6 titles, along with the accompanying publisher's submission documents that you will find in your judging portal. Do you know what? I don't think I have access to my judging portal yet, so I need that. But here I have all of the books. So this is the thing. It's non-fiction, and it turns out that I don't need to read all of the books, which is honestly a lifesaver. But I have to read, like, obviously a good amount of each of them to get a real sense of them. I imagine that if you're judging a fiction prize, you have to read the whole thing. Like, that makes sense to me, but I don't know for sure. And the reason because of this is because the British Book Awards isn't just an award that is like based on literary merit. There are plenty of awards that do that kind of thing, but this is not just about the content of the book, but like the whole publishing process. So again, I'm saying all of this stuff and I'm like, am I allowed to say this? I don't know. So there are 3 things that I've been asked to look at when judging these books. One is quality storytelling, so the content of the books. The second is publishing excellence. So this is where those accompanying documents are going to come in, where I hear a bit more about the story behind the process of getting the books published and whatever interesting things that the publishers want to say about the books. My toddler's trying to come in. And then the third is sales success. So actually the commercial success of these books matters in this awards. Do you want to come see Mummy's books? What's in the box? Come on, do you want to come see the books? So this is in my shortlist of non-fiction lifestyle. We have got What I Ate in 1 Year and Related Thoughts by Stanley Tucci. What do you think, Ro?
That's fun.
I knew you would say that. Stanley Tucci looks like Grandad. Is it just because he's a bald man with glasses? Yeah. This isn't Grandad. His name is Stanley Tucci. This is his book. So, ooh, lovely little end papers there. It is an onion. So I've actually already started listening to this one, but now that I have the physical copy, I'm gonna switch to physical. The other one that I've already started listening to is A Better Second Half. Dial Back Your Age to Live a Longer, Healthier, Happier Life by Liz Earle. That's this book. What can I say about my first impressions of this book? One, that I am not the target audience. Like, this is the thing, like, I'm so used to talking about books on this channel and online where it's like talking about me personally, how I feel about the books and how I like the books. But this is going to be so different because whilst I can be like, yeah, this book is not for me for many reasons, which maybe I'll talk about, I don't know. I feel like if I was just doing a regular reading vlog, I wouldn't hold back. As a judge for an awards, I'm not just judging it off of obviously like my personal feelings about this book. There's other things. Okay, Rowan. Anyway, so that's that book. What do you think of this one? What do you think of that one? Yeah, look, so there's those two. Then I haven't looked at any of these other ones. We have, this one looks nice and small, Spudman's Spudtacular Baked Potato Cookbook. Big portions, tasty toppings, can't lose. 40 quick and easy recipes. My child is in the background. This is life. Well, I'm thrilled about this. The question is, like, do I have to, like, make recipes as a judge? But I'm not completely judging it on the contents, but I think I have to, especially with my, like, trying to be veggie video that I did and talking about jacket potatoes. I feel like there's gonna be some good things in here. Anyway, fun, love, right. Well, maybe, I don't know. This one's pretty. Okay, Drawn to the Garden. The woman living in a flat in London with a balcony and no garden. By Caroline Quentin. I love the illustrations on that. Ooh, more pretty end pages. Here we go. So, a gardening book. Fun. This is just going to be like for my future life. Like, yes, when I finally have a garden and can plant things. I mean, we could plant things on our balcony. I know. But anyway, then we've got Greek-ish. Everyday Recipes with Greek Roots by Georgina Hayden. So, another recipe book. Greek style. I do like Greek food. So, great. But we'll have a little look-see through this. And this is what I'm saying about why I'm not surprised that it's not required for me to like read a whole book, because like there will be people out there that read entire recipe books, but I don't think that's the majority of people. So that is Greek-ish. And then finally, another recipe book. So Good by Emily English. Food you want to eat, designed by a nutritionist. There we go. The video where I tried to be veggie for a month hasn't even been posted yet at the time of like when they reached out to me, but it seems to all be coming together. Like the universe has spoken. I'm judging a book awards for non-fiction lifestyle where 4 out of 6 of the shortlisted books are about food. 3 of them are full-blown recipe books. I know nothing about the process of how they pick the shortlist. I can't speak to that. 1 gardening book, 1 sort of like diary memoir-esque book that is about food. So we can add that to this. And then this one is like middle age, second half of life, lifestyle, which probably will include some food stuff. I know for a fact includes food stuff. There we have it. Where do we go from here? I need to access the portal to get me into the documents bit to actually find out more about the publishing process and sales of these books. I imagine all of that information is confidential. That shan't be shared. I think I'm going to take you through my trying to read these, and also just like on the timeline side of things, especially around a toddler who decides to be ill and I can't send him into his childminders. I better do some parenting. Alas, I cannot start reading these books right now, which is what I would like to do. Okay, the child is better and back at his childminders and I can finally breathe. Okay, so over the next 2 weeks, I have scheduled in very little work because I was like, amongst everything and parenting, like, when am I gonna get a chance to like read books? At the time, I didn't know that I would be mostly getting recipe books. So actually, I'm kind of feeling optimistic that they're not going to take me as long to read as I initially thought. Anyway, so I have got 2 weeks to read all these because I was feeling very delayed in starting because of my kid being ill and everything. I wanted to get a quick win last night. And so after he went to bed last night, I read this. This is Spudman's Spudtacular Baked Potato Cookbook. Obviously I didn't read the like nitty gritty of every single recipe, but I read all of the other like story text and like the introductions to each recipe. I love a jacket potato. And so there's like so much stuff that you can do here. It's quite overwhelming. When I'm talking about these, by the way, I feel like it's just best for all of us if I just chat about like my personal experiences with the books as a consumer rather than as a judge, because also I've not read the accompanying PDF and materials yet to do with this. So currently I'm just like, ooh, yum. But Dan and I were saying that we wanted to make some homemade hummus at some point, and this guy has got a hummus recipe in here somewhere, and I can't, there we go, the hummus one, page 74, that one, boom. So I can tick one off the list already, very happy about that. I'm not tracking any of these on the story graph because my story graph is public and it is currently confidential. Will I add these later on? I don't know, because I feel weird like rating them publicly. I don't know. This is all so confusing. We're all learning together as we go. Okay, I've got a bit of time now before I need to hop on a call. And so, wow, this is bigger than I thought it would be. So I think what I'm gonna do, what do I wanna do? Where am I up to in this book, in the audio? Let's figure that out. I'm up to June 7th, because this is like structured like a diary. And then it's just like what he ate with the odd recipe here and there and like what he's up to. Love Stanley Tucci. June 5th, here we go. This one and the Liz Earle one are probably the best ones to like read entirely, but you cannot make me. I won't. Hence why I downloaded the audiobooks of these ones, because they make more sense rather than the recipe books doing audio. Do they even make audiobooks or recipe books? Maybe for accessibility. But the vibe I'm getting from this one so far is that it is very diary-esque. So obviously it is done like in dates, and it does feel like the way that you would write in a diary kind of vibe in terms of like the way that the sentences are structured and the grammar and like the casualness of it all. And yes, a lot of it is about food. I kind of love how honest he is about when he hates stuff, especially like when he goes to a restaurant, although he doesn't like name the restaurants, but he's like, the food was fucking terrible. And I'm like laughing out loud. Like I think initially I was like, oh God, that's a bit rude. And then actually, I don't know, I feel like as I've warmed to his character, I'm just like, oh, classic Stanley, hates the food. It's also kind of an interesting glimpse into like the reality of fame and celebrity. Also in terms of like the things that he gets up to and like what his like work like looks like. But then also he is a dad. He's got like some older kids who are adults and have flown the nest, but also he's got some younger kids. How old are the younger kids? I don't know. I feel like they're primary school age. And so there's a lot of stuff that he's talking about in terms of like looking after his kids and parenting that I'm like, same Stanley, same. Like, doesn't matter how rich or famous you are, parenting truly is one of the great levelers of society. Is it though? Because rich people can afford nannies. Anyway, I kind of thought that this, when I first started this, I was like, okay, I've got a sense for it, and I do feel like I've got a sense for it enough for judging, but I actually am kind of enjoying it enough to continue. But I do need to make sure that I actually like read enough of the rest of them. So this one, oh Liz. Oh, there's photos in this book. Anyway, it's fine. I'm in the Reversing Aging with Science chapter. How to increase your odds with biohacking. But I feel like, is this a safe place? It is. I've created this space on the internet, so a lot of you will be similar to me. There are a lot of red flags in this book. I don't know how many of them are just because I'm in my early 30s and this is for women who are older than me. This is like, Liz Earle is my mum's age. But actually, do you know what? If my mum said any of the stuff in this book to me, I'd be like, are you fucking mad? No, it's fine. It's one of those things where like, I don't doubt that the things that she is saying that will help you live a healthier and happier life are true. Like, if you do them, possible positive results will come. Me and Liz just have very different worldviews. She sees all of the different ways that you can optimize your body and have control over your body, your mind, your life, and all of this, and she finds that empowering. I find it exhausting. That is one of the main places that this book loses me, is that it's just constantly telling me how empowering it is, and I'm not empowered. I'm stressed and I'm exhausted, and yeah, if I even tried to follow like some of her advice, I think I would actually be miserable. I may be healthier, I may have lost weight, but will I be happy? I feel like I do need to read a little bit more than this, so I'm only like this way through. So I'm gonna like read a sprinkling of some of the other chapters, and I'm gonna try and not talk about how much I hate it too much in this video. Right, what do we want to start reading now though? I've got a bit of time. I'm kind of tempted to have a peruse of the garden book, Drawn to the Garden, and then we can save these two recipe books for another time. This is beautiful. I love it. We'll see. We shall see. Maybe there'll be some good ideas in here for some presents from my dad, because he has a garden. Let's go. I'm immediately loving this book. Do you know that feeling like after you've read like a couple bad books, or you've had a few DNFs, and then you pick up a new book and immediately you like trust the author because the writing is good? It's just like being greeted by a warm hug. Like, I'm immediately put at ease. I know nothing about gardening. Anyway, I weirdly got emotional reading like the first few pages of this book. This woman, Caroline Quentin, is apparently an actor, and she has a gardening Instagram account. And she's also done the illustrations for this book. She did these. I love it. They're so good. And like, she talks about how they let her do the drawings. And then she says, these mixed offerings have been done with love and in the full and certain knowledge that just as I am an amateur gardener and an inexperienced writer, it's become clear to me that I am a novice illustrator. I really hope that my hit and miss attempts at all three disciplines will encourage other would-be artists, writers, and gardeners to pick up a pencil, a trowel, or an idea and run with it. It's just so lovely. Let's give ourselves permission to mess up, go wrong, make mistakes, and carry on. Shall we turn down the volume on our inner critic, get dirt under our fingernails, paint on our cardigans, and put a smile on our faces? Hell, why not? We've got nothing to lose and so much to gain. Ooh, Caroline, right, let's go. But the illustrations in this are so cool, and I love that she did them herself. Pretty. I am over halfway through this book, and I'm loving it. I'm inspired. One day in the future, I will be having a garden and growing my own food. So you know when I said that 4 out of 6 of the books were about food, and I didn't include this one because I thought it was about gardening. Well, it's about growing your own food. And there was a whole section in the middle of it that's some of her favourite recipes from things, including some like rhubarb vodka and sloe gin. Cool. But there is something about the writing and the storytelling in this book that I just adore. I'm laughing out loud. Like, she's very funny, but not in a trying too hard way. And also just like in a very like self-aware way. It's very cozy and just like chill. The vibes are good. The vibes are excellent. Oh, hold on. You know how I said that she's an actor? So I don't know her. Maybe I've seen her in things, I'm not sure. But like British TV and theatre, but I'm just seeing on the back here. Caroline Quentin is a renowned figure in British comedy. Well, that would make sense as to why I'm laughing a lot. I'm like chuckling to myself a lot reading this. Well, there you go. Right, I've got to go pick up Rowan now. And then tomorrow, I don't really have any other work plans other than read, and then a hospital appointment in the afternoon, which we all know will require more reading and waiting around. So excellent. Couldn't have planned this better. But I have finished What I Ate in a Year. I finished reading it on my trip to the hospital this afternoon, which was the whole thing, and I've been crying since I got home. I'm fine, I'm not fine. I finished Drawn to the Garden, and of course I've also finished the Baked Potato Spudtacular book. So 3 down, 3 to go. And tomorrow is a Friday, so that's my day off with Rowan, and then it's the weekend, so basically gonna fuck all reading done then. So we'll be back at it next week for these. This one, obviously, partway through, it's honestly a chore. And then we've got these 2 recipe books, which I imagine it'll just be quite easy to read and skim through the entire things because a lot of it will just be recipes and pictures. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about finishing all of these on time. I am not feeling good about other stuff that is unrelated to this video. But actually being an emotional mess and coming back and reading this book was a really lovely distraction. So thank you, Caroline Quentin. It is a new week and we are back to reading. So I did manage to listen to more of the Liz Earle book over the weekend. I hate it less. I have a few more positive things to say about this book. I thought the HRT menopause section was really good. The woman has clearly done a lot of research, so kudos. She knows a lot of stuff. Is she persuasive? Has she got me on board with optimizing every little thing about my health and wellness? No. And we went from like a sprinkling of fat phobia at the beginning to like blatant. So not great. And I just generally find it hard to trust a book that is about health and wellness, that is all about our individual actions and changes that we can make to our own lifestyles. And granted, she does occasionally go into ways in which like the medical establishment hasn't got a great track record when it comes to women and research around women's health. And when it comes to a lot of research, she does point out like where the funding and money has come from, and so whether, you know, that means that it's very biased and skewed and all of that. So there's some of that in there. But when it comes to people's bodies and health and wellness in general, there's no mention of how things like poverty and mental health and neurodivergence and chronic illness and disability factor. Like occasionally she'll be like, this works for some, or like this may not work for everyone, but I just don't feel like that's enough, Liz. Anyway, enough about that. I'm now reading Greek-ish and I've been turning a few corners on some recipes. Honestly, recipe books generally just overwhelm me. I just think that the people who make these are so proficient in the kitchen that they're like, this is really easy and this is really simple. And I'm like, not for me. I'm like, you think this is simple? But sure. But the pictures are beautiful and the writing is really lovely. And some of these recipes genuinely do look really delicious. She says that she is a mum of 2. And so a lot of these recipes are very like family friendly, like needing to make quick weekday meals. And yet the recipes do not say how long they will take on them. You know, when you have your serves this many, I just need a timer underneath that as well. Maybe that was a conscious choice, but that is information when I'm skimming a recipe book or skimming recipes online. I need to know how long it's going to take before I invest in reading the actual recipe. That's just me. Maybe it's other people too, I don't know. But I am actually almost finished with this one and should finish it today. And then it means that tomorrow should be able to do a whole other recipe book and then at some point finish this. I'm over halfway through this one. I am currently listening to it, but if I finish these recipe books faster than expecting, then I should be able to read this faster, I think, than I listen. And then it means that I can actually listen to an audiobook of my choice. I feel like after all of this non-fiction, lifestyle and food related things, I need to throw myself back into some like fantasy sci-fi thing. Unrelated, but at the time of filming this and when all of this is happening for me, Civilization 7, the game, the video game, has been released and all I want to do is play it. I've managed to have some evenings playing it with Dan, but it is wild to me how different my life is now when this version of Civ has come out than when I first started playing Civ 6. Because when I first started playing Civ 6, I was newly in a relationship with Dan, we had no children, and then a year into our relationship I got very sick and hospital, surgery, blah blah blah, all of that. And so I had basically a whole year of like some work, but also a lot of rest and recovery and a lot of playing video games. So that was my lifestyle. I was like in surgery recovery for like a whole year because I had 2 surgeries that year. And I got to go deep into playing Civ. And I'm just not going to be able to have the same experience with Civ 7 because I have a child. And so this is just my warning out there to anyone thinking about having children. You'll have less time for video games. Anyway, I'm going to read this recipe book. That was a tangent because if I finish these, then I can play some Civ. Finished. Here's just a selection of some of the recipes that I turned the corner on. Let's see. Some homemade flatbreads. I like baking. Mushroom and lentil chilapitas. Basically like a ragu-y pasta thing, but make it vegan. 1 pot chicken thighs and rice. Let's see, what else do we got? Potatoes. More potatoes. And this chocolate cake. I'm quite hungry now. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new book for me. And I'm feeling so good. Right, let's go. Let's go. I have finished 4.5 out of 6 books, although actually I'm almost finished with the Liz Earle book. And she's a grower. She's still got her issues, but I feel like I just have to accept that the book is not for me, and talk to me again, ask me again in like 10 to 15 years when I'm in my mid-40s, approaching 50, menopause, all of that, and maybe I'll be like, different. Who knows? But for now, let's just get hungry and read some more recipes and about food. This woman, Emily English, is apparently a nutritionist. Let's go. I absolutely sped through that, and now it's time for my lunch, and I'm going to be sorely disappointed in what I'm going to eat because I'm just going to be comparing it to all of this. I have cornered so many pages. On the one hand, I am very inspired because, as you may know from previous videos, I'm an incredibly fussy eater. I also have a chronic illness and a stoma bag and all of that, which like impacts my diet and what I can and can't eat, and I'm also a child. The two I think are related. So when I find recipes that I'm like genuinely like, oh my god, I want to eat that, and not only that, that seems accessible, I think I could actually make that, I'm there just like folding corners, dog-earing all the corners. Look at this. That being said, so on the one hand, inspiring. I'm like, yes, oh my god, I could cook all these foods and I would potentially like these foods. On the other hand, overwhelming. With food, it is so difficult to start new habits. Like, it's all about habits and lifestyle, and when you get into a routine with how it works for you, like, great. We are currently a meal box household, but also Dan and I have been chatting about not doing that anymore. But we've been talking about not doing it for months and months now. But between the two of us with work and having a toddler, we haven't had a chance to figure out what the alternative is that we replace it with. And so when I think about this, I'm like, oh my god, I can make all of these things, it'd be so great. And like some of the things that are for breakfast, I'm like, fuck yeah. And like the lunches and dinners, like all of it. But when meal planning, I swear to God, is a full-time job. Like, not only finding the recipes, but then like planning your meals for the week, buying all of the ingredients, and then actually cooking it all. But the problem with recipes like these as well is that you'll buy ingredients for it, you'll make it, and then you'll have loads of leftover ingredients. And so this is another reason why I'm thinking of getting the like sorted food sidekick app, because that whole thing is about one shopping list that like makes you 3 meals and then you use everything. I definitely want to make some of the things in here, but I also then just don't want to be left over with loads of ingredients that I then need to figure out how to incorporate into other things. Okay, basic, but I love pancakes, and these are some like ricotta pancakes. Yum, yum, yum. Some morning tacos, a butternut squash mac and cheese. Oh, also there is a hummus recipe in this book, which means that all 3 of the recipe books, so this one, the Greek-ish one, and the baked potato one all have hummus recipes in them, and they are all slightly different. This one is a caramelized onion one, the Greekish one has artichoke in it, and then I think the baked potato one is like just your bog standard hummus. I feel like we need to do a battle of the hummuses, and that shall decide the winner of this book prize. Oh, what else, what else? I've like dog-eared every single soup in here because I want to have like more soups in my repertoire, although it is becoming spring, summertime, so you know, maybe for next autumn. This looks and sounds lovely. Italian sausage and broccoli pasta. Superfood vegetarian bolognese. Oh, just... And this woman, what's her name again? Emily English. She loves some canned tuna, she loves some salmon, and she loves American mustard. I don't think I've ever bought American mustard. I also don't know what the difference is between American mustard and other mustards that I do know. My assumption is that it's probably sweeter and not spicy. Is it like the kind of mustard that you just like put on a hot dog? Is it that kind of mustard? Anyway, I kind of love this book. And when Dan comes home, I'm gonna show him all the recipes that I dog-eared and get him to pick some. And then maybe I'll make some. Sometimes I wish that it was my full-time job to make food. Wait, I could be a stay-at-home mum. Right, this means that I just have to finish the Lizelle book, which has a name. It's called A Better Second Half, and I have just over an hour left. I'll probably finish it today. We're on the Movement Matters chapter, and actually, when it comes to movement, she is telling me things that I know, and I've also heard from my mum, because my mum is the same age, and so my mum is also like receiving these same messages. I've got my moderate to rigorous exercise down. It's the strength training, it's the strength workouts that I do not do at all. Does Pilates count? I feel like it's in there, but I also don't do Pilates anymore. But I did really enjoy it when I did. I just don't have the fucking time anymore. Anyway, that's a side note. Okay, so I'll probably finish A Better Second Half today or tomorrow morning. And then I'm gonna read all of the accompanying materials that the publishers have sent related to all of these books, because I'm not just judging based on the content, but I think it was publishing excellence and sales success. So we'll get a bit of a sense of those things from those documents that I can't share. Okay, now I'm hungry and I need to eat some lunch, and it's going to be so disappointing compared to what I've just read. The books have been read and my judging day is a week away. I completed the task early, thank God for recipe books, which only take a couple of hours to read. But before I go into all of the like other materials from the publishers and the other two criteria about publishing and sales, I just wanted to rank these, not as a judge, but just as me, a reader. This is just my rankings based on content and also just like me, Hannah, personal preferences, because some books are good, but they're just not for you. A thing that happens. But then of course, for this awards, there are two other criteria to take into consideration and the other judges' opinions too. So let's go from favourite to least favourite. My fave was Drawn to the Garden. This was a surprising favourite. I just was swept up in it. I don't have a garden. I don't grow any plants. There is not a living thing other than human beings and a gecko in this flat. And yeah, I was just like fully absorbed in the storytelling, in the information, even though it's irrelevant to me currently, and the illustrations. Just cozy, lovely, warm hug. Loved it. My second favourite was probably The Tooch. This was just, again, cozy. And whilst there was no plot, if we will, no stakes, no classic 3-arc structure, just reading somebody's diary, I really like Stanley Tucci's personality. I think he's a cool guy, and all of the different like tangents that he went on, the glimpses into fame, celebrity, travel, family, and I just loved that he talked about foods that he hated and gross foods that he ate. I just found it quite refreshing. Cool. My next favourite is probably So Good by Emily English. I truly want to properly go through all of the dogged recipes in here and try and make some sort of a plan. I think my first point of call is just giving this to Dan and for him to pick some of his favourites of the ones that I picked, so we have like a list of ones that we want to try. I just really loved also the experience of reading this. I'm not a recipe book reader, but I liked this. But we'll see if it actually like comes to anything in my cooking. Okay, next, this is where I don't know. This is where I'm struggling. I think next I'm gonna have to put Greekish. This was also lovely, but I remember less of it. Like I remember some potatoes. I wasn't feeling as like, oh my God, I want to make that. I want to make that. I want to make that when I was reading this as with this one. But I also liked the insights into like Greek and Cypriot foods and culture and things. But I was less excited personally by the recipes. That does not mean the recipes are bad. As we have established, I'm an incredibly fussy eater, but that goes there. Next, I actually think I'm going to put Liz Earle next. A better second half. This book grew on me. I hate to say it. I initially went in and I got full on woo-woo girl boss vibes. And I came out of it definitely still with some girl boss vibes, but less woo-woo. There is a sprinkling of woo-woo in here, but even like in the acknowledgements at the end, she says about cutting through the woo-woo noise and actually like doing scientific research. And so we're on the same page there, Liz. There are other places where we are not. And whilst this book in my current stage of life stressed me out, it felt like a chemistry lesson, honestly, with the amount of things. But that isn't to say I don't think there's like good nuggets of information and like takeaways in here. I just think that this book can be like potentially very overwhelming and exhausting. And my other main gripe with it is I want someone, because I do not have the time, to go through this book and tally up every single thing, like every single product, every single like vitamin, everything that she recommends. And I want someone to tally up the cost of that. Like the upfront cost of some of the things that you just purchase once, but then also the recurring costs of some of the consumables that would become like a regular thing. Like, because my instinct is that if you follow all of the advice in here, you're gonna be broke. And that's capitalism, baby. The other thing that I would really love is for Michael Hobbs to cover this book on one of his podcasts. It could fit on either maintenance phase or if books could kill. I just need his take on this because I find it confusing. And then last but is it least is Spudman's spectacular baked potato cookbook. Is it its fault that I read it first and in the shortest amount of time? But this was fine. I don't know. I don't feel like inspired to go through this and cook anything from it in the same way that I do the other two recipe books. And I'm like, cool, a gift for your jacket potato obsessed friend. Right, so that's my personal ranking, this way around. And we'll see what happens next. This could all change. What does it even mean? I've just got off a call with the like social media content team at the Book Awards, the Nibbies, also with some other content creators who are judges, talking about content around the awards, confidentiality, what we are and aren't allowed to say and do. But essentially, I feel reassured that you are actually watching this video and I've not had to can the whole thing. But just before the call, I read all of the publishing packages that came with each of the submissions, and it's so interesting. That side of things I feel is incredibly confidential, but it's just very interesting seeing like the actual sales numbers and then the like publishing process, like how it came to be, but then also a lot of the like PR, marketing and press around it. And this is probably really obvious to a lot of people, but reading those things really drilled home to me just how much of a collective effort it is to create a book, put it out in the world, and give it its best chance of success. And especially in terms of the 3 judging criteria, so the quality storytelling and then the publishing excellence. Like, this feels like an award along with like the sales success. It feels like an award that is not just for the author, but for the entire publishing team that made that book happen. And so that's really cool. Like, it's a very like industry based award, and whilst yes, the author deserves to be celebrated, like all of the people working behind the scenes also deserve to be celebrated for all of the really creative and like interesting and like hard work that they did behind the scenes. So whilst obviously already had an appreciation for publishing, I think reading those was just like, oh cool, because I've never worked in publishing, so I haven't had that same like other than obviously for the 2 books that I wrote, but it's just so cool to like, I don't know, see all the behind the scenes. So here's the thing, this is where we are at. I have in my head my rankings for like quality storytelling, and then I also now want to kind of rank them based on the other criteria, publishing and sales. And I have a feeling that the orders of the books are just going to be completely different for all 3 criteria, and then maybe I'll do some maths or I'll just go off vibes, I don't know, to then figure out what my top 3 are, because I believe going into publishing day I need to have at least a top 3, and then maybe even ranking all of them and adding some notes online about them all. And then I've got an hour and a half in a room with the other judges to chat, to judge. We're gonna be so judgmental. I've made lots of notes. I need to sleep on it, but it's also the end of the week, so sleep over the weekend on it, come back to it next week, and then I will be ready for judging. Good morning, it's Book Awards Day. I was horrendously ill with a stomach bug all last week, but I am better and I am well just in time for the nibbies. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad. Imagine if I couldn't have gone after all of this. So they are later tonight. Oh, I need my ticket. My ticket! It's on the fridge. Here's my fancy ticket. The drinks reception starts at 5 p.m. early. This agenda is insane. It's such a long evening. Ceremony starts at 6:20, then dinner at 8. That's good to know. I love it when they tell you when dinner is going to be, if it's on time, so I can plan my appetite accordingly, especially having come off a stomach bug where my appetite is all over the place at the moment. And then it finishes at 10:30, but that's when the after party starts. I will not be going to the after party. I would love to go to the after party and mingle with all the exciting booky people, but I cannot. I have a toddler and that coming off the back of a stomach bug, so it's not gonna happen, guys. But it is at some very fancy hotel on Park Lane, which, if you know, on the London Monopoly board is like the 2nd most expensive property. But I actually have a full day in London. I've got an event this morning. It's the Doing It for the Kids community meetup. So I'm going to the meetup this morning, and then my friend Lena, who doesn't live in London, has got a hotel, and so I will be going to her hotel to get ready with her. I love getting ready together. She was a judge for one of the other categories. So I have a huge backpack of my things that I need to bring with. And I also have to hope that there is a cloakroom at this fancy event for me to give them my huge backpack. Okay, right. It is a very hot day today. It might thunderstorm and rain. We will see. That means I've had to pack even more things for the weather. Right. But let's go and enjoy our day and get ready for the nibbies and try and not get too sweaty and wet today. I have made it to Lena's hotel room. She is filming a time lapse, doing her makeup.
And content. Oh yes, we do a little bit of content.
Yeah, we gotta get the content. And now I need to get ready. And I've brought 2 pairs of shoes. We need to decide. I might do an Instagram poll. We have the people decide.
Why make your own decisions?
When you can outsource them.
Democracy! This is democracy manifest!
These are my shoe options. Oh wait, the dress. First the dress. Oh, I'm going to be wearing this one. The dress code is cocktail attire, darling. I wore this for the red carpet at Buffer Festival. And then I also wore it for Lex's birthday party in a manor in the countryside where we played a big game of a murder mystery game, and my character was a Russian ballerina.
Multi-purpose.
A multi-purpose dress. So that's this dress, that's the dress. And then the shoe options. These bad boys that I've had for, I want to say, 10 years. And I wore these with them on the Buffer Festival red carpet. They are wrecked and ruined. Look at the state of these shoes, but is anyone going to be looking that close though? I don't know. There's two different colours. Like this kind of purple, can it even be called purple, is I think closer to the original colour, and then you've got like on the front here you can see how it's gone grey green. So they're from Zara 10 years ago and I love them.
I've got to see this.
Look, so this
that's
colour
fine. They've just
and
seen a
colour.
few freshers' fairs, haven't they?
Yeah,
They're okay.
it was a garden wedding, I think,
Yeah.
on their first outing 10 years ago.
That just says, this isn't my first party.
No.
I'm here to have fun.
It is not their
That's not
first
that bad.
party. And then the other pair of shoes, this would actually be their second party if I wore them, because their first party was my wedding. And this is those shoes, so they're yellow, and there's some yellow in the embroidery on the dress, and also the detail of the flowers on these shoes is like that like purpley grey colour again.
I'm wearing my wedding shoes.
Are you?
Yeah.
There's an argument I feel to be made for both shoes. These ones are lower to the ground and they are comfortable. I did my whole wedding day in them. These ones are higher and maybe like objectively less comfortable, but I have done many evenings in these. Have I done a whole evening in these since I have had a baby? I don't think so. So these are my options.
It's a good way to measure the aging process. Like, can you?
Can I still do a night in these shoes? What were your wedding shoes?
I'll show you.
Show me.
Hannah wasn't invited to my wedding.
I was not.
Drama! No, nobody was. It's fine.
Rude.
These are my wedding shoes.
Are these irregular
Spooky.
choice?
They are.
Yeah, yeah.
Via vintage.
They're very irregular.
Them little
choice.
cats.
I was looking for irregular choice wedding shoes. They do them. Where are these ones from actually? They are from Ruby Shoes. Ruby Shoes. I mean, it took me so long to find a pair of shoes I wanted to wear to my wedding. There's Lena.
Thanks.
Where's
I
your
made it.
dress from?
Oh, thank you. I made it. It's got pockets. Actually, these pockets are velvet, so they double as a glasses cleaner. So I'm just going around being like, anybody want a glasses cleaner?
Oh my
Anyone?
God.
Anyone?
My sunglasses actually are filthy.
Well, come on in.
These are my number one shoes. Oh, if it's relevant, this is the bag.
That is relevant. That's more than relevant.
Okay.
It's kind of key. Okay, lift it up again.
Whoop.
Lovely. Blushing in yellow.
Okay.
Or
Oh.
nice kind of grey purple, if you can't see in the
Yeah.
light.
Do I need to paint my toes though? Or can we get away with?
Looks great. I don't toe. Either way, you're nailing it.
So Rowan's strong opinion this morning was these ones.
I think that because the bag is quite green,
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the yellow in the green.
Yeah.
I think this
Introducing
avoids
too many
you
colours.
introducing another element. So while these feel like less of a wild card, I think you're already
Quite wild.
yes. So we'll see what Instagram says though, because your opinion doesn't matter.
No, we just ask them so they feel involved, but
Yeah.
really we make the decisions.
We find the influencer in her natural habitat, grooming the outer regions of her body.
This one's for the world.
Oh, it does look like it could storm actually. Before I was like, I don't believe it. I just don't want to buy another umbrella, you know. It just doesn't feel right.
So, Lena is very
Naked.
good at makeup. Look at those eyes. Look at them.
I spent a lot of time on YouTube in 2010
You
watching
used-
Lisa
You
Eldridge.
also used to make makeup videos.
I did used to make makeup videos. The audacity.
Yes.
I knew nothing.
I 99% of the time don't wear makeup, but tonight is calling for a makeup look.
Must go full disco hag.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And this is the one palette I brought with. We'll see what we can do with it, but Lena's gonna help me.
Yeah.
Right, I'd literally just put concealer on my face like it was foundation and that's me done.
Okay, that's fine. Do you want more foundation? I don't think we'll be the same colour.
I don't
We
think,
might.
no, I also I don't just think I need it. I think like even if I put like the barest minimum on, it looks like I'm wearing makeup to me.
Yeah.
So
you
I'm
have
like,
very clear skin. Especially because you don't wear makeup very often, so your skin's probably even better.
it, indeed.
Very
And
clever.
I also use Skin and Me, not Spawn, but
Oh, yeah.
sometimes Spawn.
Occasionally. And I don't believe in Skin and Me, but they have been targeting me with Hair and Me, and I'm like, that is something that I am insecure about, and I don't understand the science about, and maybe they are right, and they know it. So they're really trying to hammer me down with.
They reached out to me about doing a campaign for Hair and Me, but I said no because no.
You're gifted in the hair department. I don't think we'd know. Gotta bronze the beard.
Gotta arrange the boobs.
Yeah.
Very important.
Bring the children.
Bring the children. Gone with these earrings. And
Very
now
nice.
we need to find out which shoes I'm wearing, although actually I already know which shoes I want to wear, but let's see if my Instagram followers agree with me.
Democracy's a lie.
Right, 79% of people say the grey purple ones, so.
Finally, some sense from the general public. Finally!
So that's
Right,
we're
get
gonna-
'em on.
got one-
Get 'em
no.
on.
Well, we're gonna walk there. I'm gonna put my trainers
yeah.
on. So, no. Right. Do I need to do anything with my hair?
I think it looks really nice. Have
Yeah.
you brought anything to do there?
No.
I've got some product if you want to. I don't know what you put in it though, because it's
I
quite.
could brush it. Does it need?
I don't have a brush. Do you have a brush?
No.
Love that idea. Why would we own brushes?
Bring a brush.
What kind of influencers are we?
Okay.
I guess I've got the attachment for my whatchamacallit. You could use that if you wanted. A handle.
What's the red carpet like photo look though? Is it like hair back? Is it hair forward? No. Hair forwards doesn't feel very cocktail.
You could do a little strand at the front, maybe. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Oh.
Perfect.
I just need my
Very
professional hair person to be there ready to like rearrange.
Yeah, to zhuzh.
To do a little zhuzh.
Zhuzhes.
Right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's take a final look in the mirror. What do we think?
I've not got my shoes
Oh.
on. But... Hi.
That's two human women wearing clothes. What could possibly go wrong?
Books.
Beautiful.
We have arrived. We have arrived. I think I'm just going to let the rest of the evening play out in B-roll.
I think that's for the best, don't you?
Also, my makeup looks so much better in this light.
You did a great job.
You did a
It looks
great
really
job.
nice.
We're not sat at the same table.
I don't like it. It's like school trip.
Who are we going to be sat next to? It's a mystery. Will they like me vlogging?
The winner it's Wilding. How to bring wild. The winner is Patriot.
It's Hunted. Cheers, thank you so much. I'd like to applaud the publishing industry for hiding extroverted narcissists from royalty for all these years. It's James.
Now it's time to reveal the non-fiction lifestyle and illustrated book of the year.
Here for this
It's my category.
A Better Second Half by Liz L. So Good by Emily English. Freakish by Georgina Hayden. Crawl to the Garden by Caroline Quentin. Spudman's Spectacular Baked Potato Cookbook by Spudman. And What I Ate in 1 Year by Stanley Tucci.
Wonderful books all, but from those, the judge's winner was a charming read, suffused with honesty and joy. Hannah, who is it?
The winner is What I Ate in 1 Week.
Thank you so much. I'm going to read this off my phone. I'm flat, more importantly, I'm now a writer, according to you all. And I'm proud of it. I'm shocked, but I'm proud. I'd like to thank Helen Garnos-Williams at Fig Tree.
Hello, it is the morning after. Oh, the voice croaked. Didn't even go to the party afterwards. And yet. So yeah, if you didn't clock from some of the footage that I got from last night, our winner for best non-fiction, lifestyle and illustrated was What I Ate in 1 Year by Stanley Tucci, and he was there to accept the award. We loved this book, and obviously I can't speak for all of the judges, but for me, I just felt like his voice in this book was so warm and funny and charming. And also it was just like a really interesting insight into one particular kind of lifestyle, but picking up on things around food and family and travel and work and all of that kind of stuff. And I just really loved this. And obviously very happy to see it win because I was part of the judging process. Here was our lovely, lovely shortlist again. And actually the other day I cooked a recipe. Oh my God, she did it finally. From Emily English's book, so good, the one at the bottom there, which was like a sausage and broccoli spaghetti pasta-y thing, and it was very yummy. I have my little booklet of all of the winners, and it was such an interesting and also an emotional roller coaster of an evening. And I just want to debrief. I need to debrief, guys. But I made some new friends sat at my table. There was other judges from some other categories that were there. I was sat on a table with Sarah of What Sarah Read Next on Instagram, and she was very, very lovely. She was judging, I think, Best Fiction, as well as Arifa Akbar, who was sat next to me, who is a theatre critic. So I got to talk about theatre with somebody next to me all night and get some great recommendations. So we love an evening where we make new friends. And also we love an evening that extends our TBR. So obviously there were lots of brilliant winners last night, and some of the books that have like immediately jumped to the top of my TBR are Percival Everett's James, which won Book of the Year for fiction, and also Percival Everett won Author of the Year as well. And Sarah and Arifa, who were sat on my table, were judges for this category, and they just sang its praises. So I really want to read that. The other one is the winner for debut fiction was Butter by Asaku Yuzuki, which is translated from Japanese. And I have another Japanese translated fiction that I actually have a physical copy of that I want to read. And honestly, I couldn't tell you what this was about, but the talk around it was very intriguing, and I was like, I want to read that. Oh my God, guys. I feel like all the parents in the room were fangirling, but Julia Donaldson and Alex Sheffer were there. They won Book of the Year for Children's Illustrated with Jonty Gentoo, The Adventures of a Penguin, which we don't have. We have Snail on the Wheel, we have Gruffalo. Those are big hits in our household. So now I want to get Jonty Gentoo. But yeah, on my table, I was like, oh my God, that's Julia Donaldson. And then the winner for nonfiction narrative was Patriot by Alexei Navalny. This is where I want to talk about the emotional roller coaster of this evening. Alexei Navalny is dead. He was a political figure in Russia who opposed Putin, and there was a video from his wife. And this book also won like best overall book of the year, so like all of the different books of the year in all of the different categories then get pulled together, and there is a group of judges who read all of those and then pick the best overall book of the year, which was Patriot. And it was a really emotional evening, obviously because of the conversations around Patriot and the fact that Alexei, was the only author there who wasn't alive to be able to accept their award. But then there was just like this air in the room of really, there's construction work. Can you hear that? How rude. I'm trying to have a moment. There was this air in the room of recognizing the political landscape of the world right now and the situations that we are living through. The winner for Book of the Year Discover, Len Penny, her acceptance speech about domestic abuse was so powerful, so brilliant. There were mentions of trans rights, freeing Palestine, AI, especially like in the, the book publishing world as well. It just felt like there was a lot going on. It was really heavy, and a lot of things rightly were being said. And then obviously it was also like a fun and celebratory evening as well. The hosts did a really good job of like really managing all of those tonal shifts. That's a really tough job, but it did feel like quite a special evening, especially being a ceremony celebrating books and the power of books and reading in terms of helping to, you know, expand people's worldview, educate, like all of the different various purposes of books, but just like how important reading is, and access to books and access to reading is at times like these, in these times. It was just quite an intense evening, if I'm honest, but like in a good way, like in a, woof, that was heavy, but important. Yeah, so I literally this morning downloaded the audiobook of Patriot, so I've started listening to that, and then I definitely want to read James at some point as well as John T. Gentoo, The Adventures of a Penguin. But all this to say, I've absolutely loved being a judge for the British Book Awards this year. I can't believe that I got to do this. It's been very cool. Maybe I'll get invited back another year, who knows? I love me an audiobook. There is an audiobook category, and congratulations to all of the shortlisted nominees and of course to our winners. I hope you liked following me along on this whole process and getting a little bit of a behind the scenes into the process and experience of judging for a book awards. I hope this isn't my last judging of a book awards, who knows? And let me know what you're currently reading in the comments. I'm currently reading, obviously, Patriot by Alexei Navalny, and for my Patreon book club, I've just started reading Disability Intimacy, which is a collection of essays by lots of different disabled people, edited by Alice Wong. So that's what I'm currently reading. I hope that you're doing well. I know last week's video was also book related. With the combination of Easter holidays and then me getting ill and having to like move a lot of stuff around, it just so happens that next week's video is also going to be book related. So I hope you enjoy this triple bill, like month-long booktube channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.